We're live. Not live, but we are in person.
I don't know who to look at, you or the camera.
I don't know.
Or in the middle.
I'm going to be honest. When you walked in, it was weird seeing you. Because we've seen each other since since the shutdown. And then, the thing that people don't even understand is that we're not even not recording in person because of the shutdown. Like, we would have probably been recording in person a long time ago. But I have 2 kids. And so it's a lot easier. Like, it got to a point where it's like, dang, this pandemic sucks and I don't like Zoom. And then it's like, actually, it's helping out a lot right now because, like you've mentioned before, we can reach out to people that are in different states, different cities. And then for me personally, it's like I can tuck the kids in and then hop on the podcast. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. But it was weird seeing you. That's not even a joke. Like, it was weird seeing you in person and sitting here in front of you.
It's weird.
I'm a little nervous because I've talked a lot of crap. And so now I feel like she could hit me. And I said this, like, as much as I talk trash about Deb, the one thing I've never, ever questioned is that she's in way better shape than me. And probably stronger than me. And so I'm a little nervous. This is like the cyberbully. What was that show, like Bully Beatdown? You remember that on MTV?
No.
Okay.
I didn't have cable as a kid, to be fair, though. So I don't, anyway. So.
Okay. Well, never mind. Anybody else who watched Bully Beatdown?
But what is it about?
What was the MMA fighter, Jason something? I can't remember. What was his name? Mayhem Miller would have these situations where, like, a kid was being bullied, and then they would get these UFC fighters or MMA fighters to come into an octagon, and they would fight this kid's bully. It's pretty awesome.
So now that you see me in person,
I feel like,
you're like,
the bully's here.
Everything I said to her.
The bully's here.
Over Zoom.
Yep. I felt so confident. Now I feel like a small child. Like, I hope she doesn't beat me. What's up?
Well, last time I saw you in person was, I think, when I dropped off your and Rachel's Christmas gift.
No, actually, we do need to talk about. Yeah. Just so if we're looking off camera, it's because Jordan, my brother Jordan's here, helping me out again, just in case technically stuff goes wrong. Because when I rented this camera that we're using, I felt like an idiot because they're asking me all these technical questions. It was like, what do you need about this and this and this? I'm like, what are you talking about? I need a camera that shoots video.
And I'm not going to be any help.
Right. That's why I didn't even text you.
Zero help.
Yeah.
Zero.
You weren't even on the list of people to contact when it came to, like, how do we pick a video camera. But yeah, Jordan was giving me the thumbs down because the last time you came over was to drop off a Christmas gift and then find out that you won our fantasy football league, which this week, not that it's going to matter when this airs because it's going to be a couple weeks past that, but you and I are playing each other.
Oh, we are.
Okay, hold on. Don't act like you don't know because
I don't know.
Okay, then who's running your team?
I have no idea.
Because you made 3 transactions, and you didn't make any transactions last year. Who's helping you?
I do have a friend that's helping me.
Now, are you actually making the transactions, or are they doing it for you?
They're telling me what to do for the most part.
Okay.
But
do they have access to your account?
Yes.
I knew it. Of course, it's a week we played each other,
That's not going to... Well, and here's the thing, is last year was a fluke, obviously. Because how do you not... I did nothing.
Oh, yeah, no, we know.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And so this year, I'm like, do something and then I'll lose. Because I don't want you guys to get pissed at me again. So.
I don't think you really care.
I don't care.
And you're right. If anybody's new to the show or it doesn't
How do you know that I make changes? Does it tell you?
Oh, yeah.
I have no...
This is what we're dealing with. It's like, how do you know my team name? It's on there, Deb. You and I are playing each other this week. And it shows your transactions. So if you trade someone, if you drop or pick up someone.
I know that my quarterback is hurt.
What's your quarterback's name?
I have no idea. Just know my
you know what's weird though?
Hurt.
You actually had the same quarterback last year too.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what auto draft does, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
That's exactly what happens. And that's something
you can't do much with an auto draft though, so I wouldn't worry. Just whoever's making my changes.
So we said last year. It's every time we played you, it's like, hey, who are you playing this week? It's Deb, easy win. It was not an easy win. You won the whole league. You got to stop this. This is nonsense. I don't know why we're having this conversation.
You said you weren't going to ask me back, but
no, then we had to. Because you're the champ. Like, we're not going to not invite the champ back. So
you
we're in a
asked me
tricky
back,
spot.
And I was like, do they not have an extra friend that they're looking for? They're asking me back again?
You'd be surprised how hard it is to find a 10th. We have a really tough time. So, again, I'm not trying to offend you because we're here in person.
Is that considered cheating if I have someone else make my moves for me? Or do you guys care?
No, we don't care.
Okay.
We don't care. It's probably better for the league because you have like all 10 people are active. So which friend are you having help you?
One of my soccer girls.
Okay.
Her name's Sherry.
I actually thought it was Deb.
No.
I thought it was Deb.
Deb knows probably only just a little bit more than me about football and fantasy football.
But if we were doing a basketball league, she'd be okay.
Yeah, she'd do okay with basketball. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. What was your friend's name again? That's helping.
Sherry.
What's up, Sherry? Just so you know, Sherry, if you're listening, did she listen?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, listen to this part. if you guys win, you get all the credit. If we have a trophy, it says Sherry. If we say, hey, the champ is Sherry. Ginger Spice, that team is dead to us. That is a placeholder in this family league. We used to think,
it's the reigning
Deb's
champs,
cool.
though.
We like Deb. Now my whole family, Deb's dead.
You guys love me. It's okay.
Hey, don't ask that question at the Takemoto household because
I keep looking at Jordan.
Yeah, I know he's smiling because if he had a mic, it'd be a very uncomfortable conversation. He'd agree with me. It's like, yeah, the entire Takemoto family, not a fan of Deb.
What was your reaction, Jordan, when my team won last year?
Oh, it was the worst because you beat me. So.
Yeah, you beat. Jeez.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I reposted.
She beat Jordan, and this is making me mad all over again. All right, we need to move on.
New topic.
This is the worst. And everybody's like, every time I tell that story to someone, they're like, "How did she win?" I don't know. She was supposed to be an easy win. Like I've played with people that did the same thing. They're like, "Yeah, I want to do a fantasy football league," and then they get into it, and it's like they have 3 people injured in their lineup. They have people that haven't, people that are arrested in the middle of the season. All these people, and then like they get crushed. They get smoked every time, and it's like very rare if someone gets beat by them. You're the exception. You might be a genius. Quit teaching. Just start giving fantasy football advice. Like, don't care. Sign up for every league you want.
Just don't care.
Don't care about it at all.
Just like everything else that I do in my life.
This is one of America's teachers, everybody. I hope you. This is what we're sending our kids to.
I am teaching the youth how to succeed in life by caring
care.
very minimally.
Little effort.
Yes.
So if you're taking Miss
No,
McCollum's,
not little effort. Just work smarter, not harder.
Okay.
I didn't care, so that was working smarter.
Interesting. All right.
And now Sherry has my team that's working smarter.
There you go. So if you can go to Miss McCollum's PE class and have someone else run your laps for you and get the credit, figure out how to do that because it's going to be your best option, especially if you hate running. Anyways, I'm not talking about this anymore. Done. This is our 100th episode.
That's crazy.
It is pretty crazy. Now, in total, you and I have recorded over pretty close to 250, close to 250 podcasts together, especially if we include the ones that we trashed because they were no good.
I remember those in the early days.
Yeah, because we haven't caught up to the Combine yet. Because when the pandemic hit, we were still doing the Combine podcast. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we kind of went into a hyperdrive mode where we just started recording a ton of episodes. Yeah. So I think we've been recording this podcast longer.
Okay.
But I think we have a lot more episodes of the Combine. So we're still trying to catch up. So we'll see if we can outlast that one. Yeah. I don't know. That's up to you. I plan on being here the whole time.
I'll just show up at the last minute like I did today.
Yeah, which is
sit down and hold the mic. Are we ready?
Are we ready? It's like, nope, not yet, but just sit there. Don't do anything. I'll do all the work. So, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. I actually have some stats. You want to hear these stats?
Oh, geez. Yes, okay. Sure.
So I just did some quick math. So some of the stuff could be wrong.
I'm just going to get comfy here.
I'm terrible. Okay. I'm terrible at math. So this could be all wrong. But okay, so these are our stats for 100. So technically 99 because this one hasn't aired yet, but we've recorded 6,785 minutes. Yeah, for just this podcast.
Minutes.
So it's
How many? Okay, translate that into days.
I barely got the minutes.
Where's my phone? I'll calculate. No, my phone's over there.
That's okay. You guys can do it at home and let us know. It's 6,785 minutes.
Wow.
We've had 63 different guests. So if you exclude all of the repeats, Jordan co-hosting a bunch of times, Alexis co-hosting a bunch of times, us doing it, by ourselves. 63 different guests, which is pretty cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Wow. The most downloaded episode that we've ever had is Miss Lauren Johnson.
Oh, really?
Which shout out. By the time this airs, you may have your baby. So congrats to you guys. Congrats to you and your husband. So she is still the leader in the clubhouse when it comes to downloads, which is not really surprising.
That's surprising.
Nicole and your friend Jamie are in second place. They actually
really?
That episode did really well. So shout out to you guys too.
Nice.
But so Lauren's has the most downloaded episode. On YouTube, the most watched video we have is Trav and Melissa, which makes sense. They're beautiful people. Of course, people are going to watch that episode. So they have the most viewed YouTube video that we posted. Yeah. Okay. And then this is my favorite stat. Are you ready for this one? Oh, God.
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you this. How many episodes do you think you've missed of this podcast? This is episode 100. How many episodes do you think you've missed of this podcast?
Of this podcast?
Yeah. Yeah, no, just this podcast, not the other ones.
I didn't miss much of Character Combine.
No, you're really good on that one.
You tricked me. I missed a lot of my own.
We're not even going to count that one because,
I missed probably 20.
Okay, double that.
What?
And add one. She's missed 41 episodes. You've missed almost half of this podcast.
Aw.
I checked like 5 times to make sure I did the math right. I did. What do you have to say for yourself?
Did you miss me on those?
It depends who the guest was. I'll be honest with you. Some of them
I
like,
could use Deb asking those fitness questions right now.
oh no, that was never. What?
I don't
What?
know.
That's not at all what I was saying. I'm like, this is kind of nice. And I forgot that I had a co-host. Even after like the recording was done, I'm like, hey, would you ever think about recording a podcast with someone like me? Because I'm looking for a host. Because
Remember someone commented and said, do you need a co-host or
yeah, I'm not even sure. It was some lady, not sure if it was a woman, based on the picture.
It was still funny.
And like the post and stuff like that. But they felt bold enough to reach out. I was like, do you need a new co-host?
That was hysterical.
At the time, I'm like, no, we're good. And now it's like, maybe
Like,
send
maybe you need
your resume. We could take a look. But no, I was like dying laughing myself. I was like, she's missed 4. I thought it was 22. To be honest with you.
41.
41 episodes.
I was probably out of town for only like 5 of those.
I know. I know. Well, that's the wild part because during this past summer, you were actually
I was here.
crazy busy.
Yeah.
But it lined up in a way where you did a ton of episodes with us.
I told you. I said all my Tuesdays are good. I got you.
Right.
But then as soon as you give me an opening when school starts to take a break, I'm going to take it.
Right. So it's my fault.
Yes.
It's my fault. Okay, that's fine. So I did bring a gift
Oh, God.
for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Are they
So-
candles?
Absolutely not. I would never give anybody candles. So, and it's in my Bath and Body bag. So first of all, I'm going to give you this. Just like in elementary school, you get a certificate for making it to episode 100.
For recording 100 episodes. I thought it was going to be congrats on missing 41 episodes, but this is better.
No. Go ahead and read it, Deb.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Even recording. Okay. Even though she only shows up when she feels like it, has almost fallen asleep during recordings and has very little respect for her co-host. She's still an amazing podcaster.
I had to throw
This
that
is the best
I had to throw
ever.
that last line in there because I've been told by some people that I'm too mean. So
You know what? My favorite part is falling asleep. Do you remember that one episode? I don't know who it was with, and I like leaned against the my
Yeah.
wall, and I was like, "Oh my God!" In my head, I was thinking, "I'm so tired, I'm gonna fall asleep."
I've heard
And it
of those
wasn't
too.
because they were boring. Like it's
Right.
never because the guest is boring ever.
Right.
But it's because I'm genuinely like zoning out, and my brain is shutting down. So that was a good one.
yeah. No, it's true. No, I put that in there because it's 100% true. And I remember that episode because I'm like, oh no, she looks like she's about to fall asleep because she got very relaxed. Oh, I didn't realize we're doing
I think that had to have been a combine one because I don't think it was video recorded because I felt comfortable enough
You're probably right. You're probably right.
to let. I think that's what. Anyway.
And
And then on the connectable ones, I can see myself, so I have to like focus. I have to watch myself a lot,
Right.
so that it doesn't look like I'm falling asleep.
Right. So
This is great.
yeah, congratulations. You've made it.
Thank you.
Like I said,
I don't
going
have
back to like
one for
elementary
you.
school. No, it's okay. I have another one for you.
Oh, great.
I
Okay.
actually had 3 things. The third one fell through, which I was really bummed about, but I'll save that. I'm not even going to talk about that because I'll save that for another time.
Oh, great.
So before I show you this,
Okay.
I'm going to take some ownership and accountability because, yes, I make a lot of fun of you on here. And specifically recently about your attendance to this podcast. I just did it 5 minutes ago. Me saying you only made it to 41 episodes, or you missed 41 episodes. So I thought about it more. I'm like, you know what? I need to be a better person because I'm blaming you for all this when really I'm not doing anything to help the cause, right? Like I'm blaming, making fun, saying, oh, you never show up. I'm doing all that stuff. And it's like, you know what? I'm not doing anything. Like I'm actually part of the problem because you find it funny that I make fun of you and you miss so many episodes. I'm like, you know what? I need to do something to help Deb rather than trash her all the time. So when you miss an episode, you can put this in front of your computer as a placeholder. You don't actually need to be there. You just stick it in front of the computer, and it's like you're
And
there
it
the
could
whole
just
time.
be like I'm there.
100%.
Oh.
So I'm like, you know what?
And you could just talk
I
to
need
me.
to be part of the solution, not the problem. So there you go. So I will not make fun of you anymore about missing because now.
I'll just set my camera up and be like, all right, Josh, here you go. Bye.
yeah,
There I
and
am.
they're like, did she say anything?
Put it there.
Nope.
And walk away.
That's it. So there you go.
That's why my picture is on the camera off button. Though I'll just do that too.
See, there
Camera
you go.
off. She's
So
there.
yeah,
Just
so
look
you're
at her.
set now. Congratulations on 100. That's a little assistance for when you have to miss episodes. I put a lot of time and effort into this.
Sorry,
podcast,
Rachel,
people.
for the ink. If you guys printed this at home,
I did.
Rachel, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Rachel.
Your husband's loco. I like this though.
Yeah. It worked out well. I've used that picture a lot. I sent it to Style Mag.
Yeah,
for
that was
the
cool.
article.
This was taken by Jamie, one of Nicole and Jamie's episode.
Oh yeah.
Jamie is a photographer.
Nice
Thank you,
work, Jamie.
She took
Sorry
my
I
pictures
cut your
one day.
picture. The background
So,
was very nice too,
It's
but
useful though.
so
Yeah.
there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah.
I try my best.
I'll be sure to get you more candles at Christmas.
You didn't
For
get us
this.
any the first time. I don't think.
Yeah,
did
I
you?
did.
Did you?
I think. I don't know.
No,
Maybe
do you know?
not.
Do you know that just because you give everybody candles?
Well, yeah.
Okay, you're
but
probably right then. You gave
I
us.
told you
mis-
I'm a max. What did I call myself?
a
I'm
TJ Maxx.
Well, like I buy in bulk. I'm a bulk gift giver,
Right.
and just everyone gets the same thing.
Yeah, and I haven't heard any feedback when I made fun of you for that. So I don't know if people.
Everyone's like, I do that too, jerk.
I know. There's some rumors that I am a jerk, so I'm very sorry. We like each other off air. That's the weird thing about the
Calm down,
podcast.
everybody. Calm down.
The weird thing about
relax.
the podcast is sometimes like, and I don't know if you feel like this, there's certain parts of it, and I don't think I would have ever thought about this when we first started podcasting, but there are certain things that you start seeing, like when we post on social media or when we get feedback from people, it's like, oh, that part was super funny. You kind of like start leaning into it.
Yeah.
'Cause I've listened to some of the combine ones before, like re-listened. I was not nearly this mean. And I think it's because Jordan's nodding too. He's like, no, he wasn't. And I think it's because you start getting feedback. It's like, oh, that part was like, I like the interaction between you two, or that part was funny, or.
So we just amp it up a little bit. That's
And then it's like, but I don't realize it. It's not like I'm doing it on purpose. It's just like you start leaning more into that. It's like, oh yeah, I'm like a cartoon character now.
And then the less I show up, the more ammo I give you.
The worse it gets.
The worse it gets. Just do it on purpose now. I'm just not gonna
Just not gonna
get
show
my
up.
phone out. Josh, I'm not coming tonight.
Right.
And Josh goes, no problem, no worries, and gets on the show. So Deb's not here again.
Yeah. Well, and it gets worse too. The better I know the guest.
Especially if they know me too, or
Right.
know what. Yeah.
It's a problem. So like when Jordan hops on,
Oh God.
it's a problem. 'Cause I know him very well. And it's like, even last time I was gonna let it slide. He's like, hey, we normally start off by roasting Deb. We're not gonna do that. Like, oh yeah, go for it, man. And then I'll
Go
jump
for it.
in. So that's what happens. There's only been a couple times where people don't understand the dynamic, and they're
Right.
like, ooh.
You guys roasted me on something, and I can't remember what it is now. I'm like totally blanking. I'm sure you guys can think of 1,000 things you roasted me on, but one
There's
of
a
the recent
bunch.
episodes, I can't remember what it was. I'm sure it had to do with my dating life or something, but I thought I
Maybe.
died in my car laughing.
Oh yeah. Because you texted me about that, and that's why I'm like, oh, she does
Yeah.
listen to the podcast.
I was like crying,
driving home.
laughing. Yeah, yeah.
What was-
I
Man,
can't remember either.
I wish
Oh,
I could
well.
remember. We'll go back.
What was it, Jordan?
Do you remember?
Jordan doesn't know.
No
Jordan
clue?
can't remember.
Jordan's like, I don't even want to be here.
Jordan standing there like, hurry up, you guys.
Yeah,
I
like
wanna go.
the last time when Jordan was here with Trav and Blake, I gave him a seat. I didn't even give him that this time. He has a
Jordan,
bean
there's a
bag if he
beanbag.
wants. We're in the Aced office.
Yeah.
If you guys couldn't tell, we're in the Aced office again, which is awesome because they've always been super generous to us. Like this is where we used to record before the pandemic, and anytime that we need to record, they're like, absolutely. So shout out to Shireen, Melanie, John,
Thanks.
Nephi, all you guys. I might be missing someone, but if I'm missing someone, I don't know who you are. I've never met you, so I apologize for that. But thank you guys as always for letting us use your
Yeah,
space
this is
because
nice in here.
it makes us feel very fancy.
Very fancy. We got lights and everything. Can't look at the lights.
No, they're very bright. Well,
Yeah,
it was
I'm not
fun
used to
like
it.
when people would walk in, and you used to say this all the time. Like we would have guests come in. They're like, yeah, this is our office. We just let Ace borrow it. They're like, oh, cool. It's like, no, don't listen to her.
I would always say, yeah, this is our office.
Yeah, we paid for all of this. Nope. So we rented this camera to make it a little bit more special for 100 because it's a nicer camera. It's a much
Right.
nicer camera.
Yeah,
We used a GoPro
it's
last
nice.
time, which I love GoPros. But
For,
this one,
for the Father's Day episode.
yeah,
Yeah.
which was a lot of fun. We
Gotcha.
recorded almost 2 hours in that episode.
That was a good one. You know, it's funny.
Yeah.
I listened to that episode, I think on Father's Day on the way to my dad's to see him. So that was a good episode. Anyway, so yes, I do listen.
That was a fun one. I should have
Sometimes.
grabbed a water bottle with a top because I'm having to pause and
Pause and you need a straw. See.
I know like usually I give you a signal like keep going, Dad, but like I have to put my water bottle top back on. Yeah, see there you go. Look at that.
I need a straw.
mermaid.
Surprisingly, of course.
Yeah.
Well, fun fact: if I use that type of water with the taking the top off and just like tilting it,
Yeah.
I will spill on myself 80% of the time. I'm just guessing, but the straw. So you would think I don't spill. I still spill.
Still spill?
With the straw. I don't know how.
What's the problem?
I either will not think about it, and if it's too full, and I'll tilt it as
just
I'm
miss your mouth?
no, I'll be sipping and I tilt it and it like leaks out all over me.
Yeah.
I was in my car a few days ago and not using this cup, but I have like a big like hydro jug, like
Sure.
half-gallon one.
Yeah.
And the mouth of the straw is pretty wide, I guess. I don't know how
Sure.
else to say that. And like I was, sipping, and I think I went to break, and I don't know what I did basically, but as soon as I like stopped sipping, water kept coming out of the straw and went all over me. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that happens, only to me, I guess. But I always need a straw. I drink my coffee with a straw.
Really?
Yes, I'm not even joking. This is like a not a good thing.
Actually, I don't even know why I reacted like that.
I spill all my.
I don't drink
Yeah,
coffee.
why are you surprised?
I don't know. It's like,
Well-
is that a weird thing?
Well, because hot coffee is like it's very rare that you see people drinking hot coffee,
Okay.
with a straw,
Sure.
like an iced coffee or something.
I see. That makes
mocha.
sense. Sure.
But like a hot coffee, but I can't trust myself. I spill on myself way too much.
Okay.
So I have to have a straw, and then, and then even with the lid, anyway, so I have
Interesting.
to, everywhere I go, I will bring straws with me to places. It is so that I don't have to. So I have
You're that person. You bring like hot sauce in your purse too?
no, not just straws.
Just straws?
Just straws.
I don't believe you. I bet you have something else in there that she like probably brings her own fork to a restaurant.
My own knives.
Yeah.
Steak knives.
Have you ever taken silverware from a restaurant?
Yes. In high school, yes.
That was more rhetorical. I figured she did. I knew she did. Why'd you do it? Just
in
for the
high
thrill?
school, I did. Well, I don't know if it was. I can't remember if it was more
Like,
me or
I
more
need
so
new
my
forks in
friends.
house.
Huh?
Okay, go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
I think it was just me, and my friends being stupid, and let's just take the forks. They don't need all these, and it was
They don't need all these.
They don't need all these.
That's good. That's good high school
I
logic.
do tell you what I do take actually, and then to this day, well, I don't. I will
hold
blame.
on. Okay, good. Let me guess.
I'll blame it on Deb.
What are we talking about? Restaurants? Like, give me the setting. Where are we? Restaurants, hotels.
Maybe not necessarily a restaurant, but
Okay.
I will say at wineries and breweries, we take these.
Oh dang! I don't go to those places. So.
I mean, it's not just don't think
You
about
take
it
the
too
glass?
much. Yes.
Okay.
So
But
if it's
okay.
a cool wine glass or a cool beer mug, and sometimes we will walk out with it, and so
Hey, no judgment here.
so we take. Here's
Probably happens every time.
Here's karma though, is that almost all of those I have broken in my house. So they're broken and they're not. I don't even have them anymore.
Well, and they're gonna definitely notice you walking out with it. It's like, look at that lady with the straw in the cup. They're gonna definitely notice that.
I do not bring a straw to wine taste, but I have had a straw in my wine at home before.
Okay.
Yep.
That's that a weird thing too.
Yes.
Okay.
It's very.
You gotta educate me. I don't know.
Nope.
I'm not gonna pretend like I know. You know, I should have brought you one of my daughter's sippy cups. That's what it sounds like you need. They're pretty fancy now. They don't spill.
Spill proof. I will find a way
Spill-proof?
to spill.
We'll test it. That'll be our next live podcast. We'll line up a bunch like those like soda challenges.
Oh
Can you
my God.
taste the difference between Pepsi and Coke?
Yeah.
Just like, can Deb not get through this entire line without spilling? We'll try it.
We'll see what happens.
You know, when you mentioned the hot coffee and straw thing,
Mm-hmm.
the most gangster thing I've ever seen. This was my Bajan, who's passed away since, but we were at dinner with her, and Bajan's is my grandma. And it's just Japanese for grandma. And we were at a restaurant. I think it was like Applebee's or something like that, Chili's or Applebee's. And she was a lot older at this point. And so she got soup. She got potato soup. And you could see, like, when they brought the soup out, you could see it was just steaming hot. And so she started to kind of go into it with a spoon, and my mom and dad were like, "Oh no, Bajan, let's wait, let's let it cool off a little bit." And she's like, "Okay," and she put her spoon down. And then we're all talking, and our food's coming, and we're making sure everybody has the right order. And then when we look over to my Bajan, she has taken the straw out of her drink and is drinking the soup. And she had the biggest smile on her face. I'm like, "Oh, she's the biggest gangster I know."
Wow, it was hot like
I
that?
would have cried like a baby.
Oh,
yeah.
heck
And
no.
we're like, "Oh," and she had like the biggest smile. It still makes us laugh to this day.
Oh my
Because like,
God.
"Oh, tougher than us," because there's no way I'd be like, "Oh, I need an ice cube," something. But yeah,
Oh
she was
my
just drinking
God.
it. It was
She's
awesome.
gangster.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's the coolest thing I've seen. I'm too afraid to try it because I don't think I'm as tough as my
no.
Bajan was. So
You
like,
just burn your tongue right away in your
yeah.
throat.
yeah,
on fire.
Nothing is worse than when you burn the top of your mouth.
Top of your mouth or your tongue, because then you just can't taste. For me, I can't taste anything the rest of the day. It
Right.
takes all of my.
Well, especially when it's the top of the roof of your mouth. I always like I'm always feeling it. It's like
Yeah.
maybe it's not as bad as I think, and then you look at it.
Well,
Have you ever looked at it?
hurts. No.
It's
Have you?
it's pretty gross.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I burnt it really bad one time. I forgot what it was. It was like it was probably something like with like cheese, like a piece of pizza that was really hot, like a microwavable
Oh, yeah,
pizza,
yeah,
because
yeah,
those
yeah.
come out like you
Yeah.
know, like a dragon's breath. And so I burnt my mouth like, oh, and it just felt really gross.
Yeah.
And then I went to the bathroom and looked up to kind of see, and it was like white, and it looked like my mouth looked like a burn victim.
Oh my
god, it was
God.
really bad. Yeah, not fun. Be careful, everybody out there,
Be careful.
if you're eating hot pizzas.
And be careful of sourdough bread too. Just like scraping the roof of your mouth. Like,
Yeah, that's true. Captain Crunch.
yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite cereal?
You know what? I haven't had cereal in a long time. I have Fruity Pebbles in my cabinet right now only to make like Rice Krispie treats. But I haven't like eaten cereal in a long time. But if I had to choose one, my last like favorite cereal when I was eating cereal was Frosted Mini Wheats.
That's your favorite?
That was my favorite cereal. Okay, thanks, Jordan. And then other than that, Lucky Charms. Yeah, I don't know. I loved it. And then Lucky Charms. But Frosted Mini Wheats was my favorite.
Interesting.
I know.
Okay.
It's weird. I don't know. And it wasn't because like, oh, it's healthy, but like I thought it tasted good.
Well, I wasn't expecting it because I feel like I know a lot of people that like it. It's a good cereal, but like when I think of my favorite, I think of probably the worst one for me. It'd be like Lucky Charms. I love Captain Crunch. I pay for like you said, I pay for it every time because of what it does to the top of my mouth, but I do enjoy it. See, that's surprising. Like I'm not gonna lie.
What do you think I was gonna say?
Oh, I thought you were gonna have a tough time picking. Like I thought you just had cereal. I just assume you have cereal on hand all the time.
I don't know. For some reason, I want to say even like 8 years ago, like a long time ago.
Yeah.
I stopped buying bread, and I stopped because I would stock my cabinet with these things like bread and cereal and just like a gallon of milk. Like that was my diet.
Sure.
And I don't know if I just was like trying to like not eat so many carbs, or if I read something, or if I was having like gluten problems, or I can't remember. But I stopped buying all that, and I just haven't bought any ever since. And it worries me because I stopped drinking milk too. So I'm like, ooh, where am I getting my calcium? I'm not getting any younger. So now I'm like taking multivitamins because osteoporosis is a thing. And then women have it the worst. So I'm trying to like figure out where I'm going to get my calcium now. So I just eat a bunch of broccoli now.
About yogurt?
Ugh, I don't like yogurt.
Really?
Ugh, yeah. I have to like,
I have very
I used to
different
like
image of
it.
you.
Used to like. Well, you think I eat just like healthy, like
I don't
all
know.
the
I just thought, no, not necessarily healthy, because you've said before that you don't eat like crazy healthy.
No.
I don't think you eat bad. It's not like you're shopping at like the AM PM, but I feel like
I'm pretty like in the middle. Like I'm such a fast food snob now that I don't eat fast food. Like I will go to like Dos Coyotes instead of like Taco Bell. But I do have to say Taco Bell on a late night, like you're just coming down from a buzz, is like the best thing ever. So anyway, no.
I'm gonna say this.
Oh no, I said Taco Bell.
Yeah, no, I've gone on record saying this. You're gonna agree with me. Taco Bell, and I know it's gonna offend a lot of people. Don't care. Taco Bell can go kick rocks. I do not like Taco Bell. I know people love it.
I think you guys are laughing for a different reason, but you go tell me why you're what you're gonna say.
Yeah, I know.
I know why Jordan's laughing.
Okay, I was gonna try to.
I'm like, why is he laughing? I just
All right,
said
we'll
Taco
talk
Bell.
about it.
No.
I was gonna try to.
Wait, why can Taco Bell kick rocks first, and then we'll talk about the other thing?
Okay. I just don't like it. I don't really enjoy it.
Well, it's not authentic, so.
I know some people that don't. I don't care about that. Now I could eat it. I'll say this. Like some people are like, I'm not gonna touch it. I could eat it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I'll never touch it. I've never gone back. Given the choice, I haven't been to Taco Bell in a very long time. Quite a few years. Doesn't matter. Late night, none of that stuff. Just don't enjoy it. Like I don't know what it is. Like I said, I could eat it, and I'm not gonna struggle eating it. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be like, oh, it's so gross.
You just don't want, like, you wouldn't go.
Yeah.
Like if we went to a drive-through and we were in Taco Bell, you wouldn't order. You'd be like, nope, I'm gonna wait for something else at home.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless it was my only option. Like if it was my only option, I could definitely do it. Yeah. Like I remember there was one time when I went to a concert with some friends of mine, and we stayed at this dorm place. I don't even know how we were allowed to stay there. It was very sketchy, but we were eating Taco Bell on an empty football field that night. Yeah, and that was pretty good. Oh. But that was a long. That was like 8 or 9. 10
Your taste
years ago.
buds change as you get older. A little bit.
See, yeah, maybe. I mean, I can't say I've ever been like a massive fan of Taco Bell, even as a kid. But definitely now, it's just not something that. Because I know it's like you said, some people, whether it's like late night, early in the morning with someone that you just recently met and they had other plans, Nicole. That's why
Nicole.
That's why Jordan was really laughing.
Yeah.
I don't. Did I tell you this? When I heard that story, the amazing thing was I skipped through that episode because it was a very long episode.
It's very long.
And I'm like, they're awesome, but I'm not gonna listen to this whole thing. So I skipped through, and I just happened to hit that part, and she's like, like I forgot what she said. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Let me back it up a little bit. 'Cause I need to hear the start of that. And then I heard the whole story. And the first thing I did, I'm like, hey, Jordan, start at the 55-minute mark.
This is okay. If you guys, this is the Not Here to Judge podcast,
Yeah.
and this is the single life and dating episode. It's like the second or first or something episode.
Yeah.
And that's when Nicole talks about her Taco Bell incident with the guy.
Yes.
As soon as I said Taco Bell, I look at Jordan. He turns around to laugh. I'm like, why is he laughing? Oh, that's why he's
I was going to try to
laughing.
take it a different way.
We had to bring it up.
Because, yeah, I'm like,
It's okay.
I'm going to play this one off. But, yeah.
Taco Bell incident.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So if you guys can
Anyway.
go back and check that out. I don't know at what minute mark, but
They're not going to, you're not going to think about Taco Bell the same after that.
no, definitely not. Yeah.
But like I was,
I'm trying to decide because I feel like we could talk more because I told you this.
Yeah.
At one point, I really wanted to do like a reaction video with Jordan and just clip that one
That would
part
be
and
great.
talk about it because trust me, we had plenty of conversations about this because there's like these little details that she left out because I think she was trying to be respectful of, I don't know, of your audience or of this person, but I'm like, oh, I have so many thoughts. Like I would love to know what that person's order is because I feel like I have a good feeling that person probably ordered like a burrito and a chalupa.
Why?
I mean, that just seems like a kind of a gross order to me, and I feel like, you know what I mean? It's a gross
We'll have
human
to
being.
ask her if she remembers what he ordered.
I would love to know. It's one of the many questions I have for Nicole. I would also,
One of the many questions.
yeah, and I was gonna say it. I can't keep beating around the bush. Like the guy was jerking off, and so
In front of her while
In
they
front
were
of
eating
her,
Taco Bell.
while they were eating
While they
Taco
were
Bell.
watching a show, and she just looked over, and that's what he's doing.
right,
Yeah.
and so I couldn't keep doing the beating around the bush thing. I told you this before. If this ever comes up, I've got to say it because you guys didn't. I'm gonna say it. Yeah, and so the problem, the weird thing to me about that whole situation was that like I would love to know if he made any like other kind of attempt or if his whole goal was like, if I can just get her back to the apartment with some Taco Bell, it's gonna be a good day.
Solid.
Yeah,
Solid.
it's gonna be
Fetish.
yeah, exactly.
There are weirder fetishes out there. I don't know.
100%,
I'm
but
gonna have to
that's-
ask her.
Yeah, no, I would.
That was the extent of her story. She didn't tell me any other details off to the side or anything, and she would have.
Sure.
So, I don't. So we'll have to ask her.
And obviously, it's one of those things where it's like you don't want to make like too much light of it because obviously, in the moment, that's a horrible situation.
Well,
for the-
Nicole's pretty honest. Like she's
Right.
pretty dead ass, like honest. Like this is what happened, and that's what happened. And she did censor herself. Like she didn't say jerking off. She said relievement. Like she was trying to
Yeah.
censor herself a little
Which
bit.
does relieving yourself make it worse or better or worse? It
Worse.
makes it worse.
She didn't know how to say it.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't
like
say
he
this.
relieved himself
Yeah.
onto my jeans. Like jeans. Oh,
She.
there's also some of the like the. I don't know how my mother-in-law listens to this. Sorry, Paula. Yeah, some of the dynamics of like how they were sitting. All of this. I'm very curious about how this all went down because
You want another play-by-play from her?
I would love
Just-
a play-by-play from her.
Maybe she'll come back on for a special. Not here to judge when I finally decide to do it again. I'll have her say detail.
I would love to
I'll
be a part
call
of
it
that
the
episode.
Taco Bell episode.
Yeah, I would love to be a part of that episode. I'm throwing my hat in the ring right now. I would like to be a part of that conversation because I have so many questions. Mainly, like I do need to know what this person ordered, and I also
Okay.
want to know. I want to know if this person finished the meal. Can you imagine? He's like, if this was his plan, right? And he's like, I gotta go through my burrito. He's like shoving the burrito in his mouth, shoving chips, cheese all over his face. Like, oh, I'm done. Now the real game starts. Can you imagine?
No.
That's what I wanna know.
Or
Or
if he
the-
didn't finish his food.
Right,
and
that's the
then-
other thing,
and
too.
then
What's
finished it
worse?
after. What?
What's worse? Do you think? Is it him shoving all the food down? Oh, this is not a bad
No,
question.
I'm thinking, good.
No, you're looking at me like I'm crazy. This is a real question that we've talked about because there's the
Boys.
okay. He either shoves all the food in his mouth, finishes as fast as he can so he can finish elsewhere, or he like stops halfway through the burrito. He's like, you know what? I have a better plan. I'll finish the burrito later.
I think if
Or here's the other thing: did he not drop the burrito? Right?
did he not drop the burrito?
He has a burrito in one hand, himself in the other. There's a
That's
possibility.
is that what she said in the episode? I don't remember.
I don't think she gave details. Do you remember?
Josh.
I don't think so. We've
Oh,
we've
this
always-
is what you're. This is like a scenario.
I'm wondering.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm just curious.
I think that'd be the worst.
I think so too.
If he has his
you know what's
burrito
gross?
in one hand.
You know what's gross? You can hear the crunching of the paper,
Oh my
the
God.
wrapper, just like
Well,
sauce
we
dripping
gotta
out
ask
his hand.
details now. She better remember what
So-
happened exactly.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know, Nicole.
All right,
'cause
Nicole.
I'm very curious.
Get ready to
Yeah.
record another
And
episode.
if we've
with
lost any
me.
listeners, I'm very sorry. It's been our first time in person for a while.
I know.
This is gonna happen. Deb's
my
not gonna
God.
come back for other reasons. Like she's like, nope, don't like this. Don't like this setup.
No, this is a cool setup. We need to do more in person. Well, we can't. I mean, it's just more convenient to not do it in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At one point, though, I would like this is way better.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the stupid, gaps in like the connection where you say something and then I'm sitting there.
Like
I was
a
like, oh
long
yeah,
pause.
that's a good point. Like that's the worst part of it, especially.
Or when Zoom drops, it's dropped my connection a few times. Not as much lately, but like in the past, it dropped. And you text me, can you get back on? Like I'm trying to log back on.
That's always rough. Yeah, it's better in your new place though.
Yeah, a lot.
It was
better.
a lot worse in your previous place.
And on my new laptop.
That helps too. Yeah.
You're welcome.
That's what somebody was asking, like what kind of camera you had and all that stuff. I said,
Well, my old one on my Samsung,
Yeah.
What year is it? 2010.
right.
Samsung.
It's like she didn't buy any extra equipment. This is a new MacBook.
I got
and it's
a new
awesome.
MacBook.
Yeah, and it really does sound good. It's probably gonna sound better than this.
Right?
You know what I mean? But anyways, I'm not sure how we got off that.
Well, because we were talking about cereal and nutrition, blah, 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 and you were saying how I was saying how I'm not like the healthiest eater, but I'm not also like the worst eater, just in my personal opinion, like scale of like eating. And then that's when I started talking about I'm a fast food snob and I don't like fast food. And then the talk about blah blah blah. So I was
I should like fast food.
I mean who doesn't like fast food, to be honest? Like it's good,
Sure.
but like I'm gonna go look for like an Adalberto's instead. Now that I've had it many times, I can say that I've had it now.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love
Now,
it.
did you have
I get
because
the
you were
number
really
24 all the
interested
time.
in trying it, or you just like I don't?
Well, I
can't
think I
hear
ate it
this
on
clown
accident
anymore.
one time. I think Deb brought me a breakfast burrito one time, and I was like, "Where'd you get this?" Adalberto's. I'm like, "Oh yes."
He'll shut up finally.
I can finally say I tried it. So
Yeah.
I get the number 24 all the time, and it's open 24 hours.
delicious.
The one that's here in Rancho.
That is my stop.
I love that place.
There's times in Orangeville, where I would go with my sister after we would go to Wednesday night church, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would always go to Adalberto's and then drive across the street for her to go to Taco Bell. So that's how much she loves.
It's right
Taco
there
Bell.
next to each other.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, and she does not.
Taco Bell.
Ashley does not like Adalberto's.
Really?
Yeah, it breaks my heart. but-
Ashley.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
That being
it's
said,
okay.
she got a bean burrito the first time, which is probably the worst thing you can
No,
get.
yeah.
There's a lot of beans in there. There's not much flavor.
Yeah.
I get that, but she's ruined
Anyway,
at this point.
I love their number 24.
It's the best. The California burrito's really good.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rachel gets the carne asada fries.
Oh yeah, those are good. I've had
They're
those
really
too
good.
there. Those
They're
are really good.
delicious.
But I will choose Adalberto's over Taco Bell. That's why I choose that instead of Taco Bell, because they're right next to each other. Well, because they're next to each other, I'd rather
Okay.
go there.
All right, I feel like you're trying to keep the peace here.
No, I swear Taco Bell is a choice where nothing else is open. And there's Taco Bell, that's open. I've done that before where I'd drive around because everything in Rancho closes early.
Sure.
Before I figured out Adalberto's, right?
Right.
But I would go to the Taco Bell closer to my apartment in Rancho, which is open and
Sure.
everything else is closed. That's just a prime example. But I don't eat a ton of fast food. I don't really like it that much, but I'm not like a everyday salmon and salad
Sure.
and sweet potato eater.
Okay.
I'll eat, I will go somewhere in the middle.
Got it.
So
Okay.
I'll just have snacks. I ate a lot of carbs.
Today?
Yeah, sure. I don't remember what I ate today.
Okay, I thought there was a
Started my
specific
morning
story.
off with a bagel.
Okay.
So
Just a regular?
a blueberry one. It was okay. I wish I gotten a regular one.
Okay, I'm gonna say this, and sometimes we had some of the Dave's Killer bread bagels,
Oh, okay.
and those are really good. But they have a boom and berry. I'm not sure how booming it is. You can taste the berry there, but sometimes I feel with those flavored bagels, it's very very subtle.
Yeah, I'd rather stick with the plain
Yeah.
or an everything bagel is the best. I love whatever. Have you had an everything bagel?
No, I've seen it. I thought it was a plain bagel, and I started putting it in my cart, and then I realized, oh, you almost got me. I wanted no
Everything
part.
bagel.
Because I'm not a huge bagel person, but if I do it, it's going to be like a berry one. Or, you know who has a really good, is it, not Noah's Bagels. What's the other place? Panera.
Oh, Panera.
They have like a cinnamon bagel.
Oh my God, that's so good.
That one's really
Oh,
good.
that one's good.
That's basically a donut. It's not even a bagel.
Right.
It's a donut, but it's
It's
delicious.
a dessert.
Yeah. So anyways,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I interrupted you.
Oh no, well I'm the type of all week long I'll eat just my standard semi-healthy meals. I'll have a salad or I'll make a little a wrap burrito thing, whatever, and some protein bars. And on the weekend it's brunch. Sure. Fast food. Sure. Let's go. Beer. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So on the weekends I just
Yeah.
kind of go crazy, whatever. And then
Sure.
on the weekdays I try to stick with what I know for the sole purpose of just at least being able to like move around comfortably at work and running around with my kids and
Sure.
being able to demonstrate exercises and stuff. I can't have a belly full of like, you know,
Pasta. Like a lunch of spaghetti,
like I can't have a belly full of like French toast in my tummy.
which would be
Like, wow.
awesome to start the day off with the French toast.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, especially, I mean, obviously it's a little bit different what you do too, because you are
Yeah.
constantly on the move. And
Constantly.
it could be a rough day if you have too much of that stuff.
I literally have to watch what I eat at work sometimes,
Yeah.
just because.
But I feel like it's a little bit, for me, it's a little bit easier at work. When I'm really focused on it, when I'm not focused on it, it is a train wreck. Like
Well-
everything's like candy.
Oh yeah,
cookies.
with what you're eating, you mean?
Yeah, everything chips. Right now, I'm kind of sticking a little bit more to not a diet, but it's a little bit more of a consistent thing. Where I'm not snacking as much throughout the day because it goes downhill. Because I use MyFitnessPal to track all that stuff, and it gets out of hand quickly. There's sometimes I'll pack my lunch and then it's noon. I'm like, everything's gone.
Everything's gone.
I just ate everything.
That was me in high school. I would pack my,
Yeah.
I'd eat breakfast at home and then I would pack my lunch. Best assured that lunch was gone after first period.
Yeah,
And I'd be
doesn't
like,
stand a
cool, I have
chance.
no, every single time. It's
Right.
just sitting in there. I'm hungry. I'm an athlete. Like I'm starving. It
Yeah.
would just be gone. And then I'd end up buying something else at school for lunch instead of eating what I was supposed to eat for lunch. But
Oh,
anyway.
100%. I used to do it all the time.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, but I love food. So, but I do have to watch what I eat during the weekday. I
Yeah.
sometimes don't even have enough time to eat during like, you know, in between all the periods
Sure.
and stuff. And I wish I did. I had more time, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, that's the tough part about being a teacher. Like, you're just
Mhm.
constantly
it's
on the go.
constant. Yeah. Constant.
Um,
Anyway,
Anyways, this
good.
has turned into a food podcast.
it's okay.
Yeah, that's all right. That's just, we didn't have an agenda when we
We
came
walked
here.
in today and I said, what rabbit hole are we going to talk about today?
So we'll talk a little bit about the 100 stuff, and then we'll keep it moving. But I do want to say before I forget, because I'm not even sure how long we've been recording here, but it is something we've done on social media. So if you guys follow us on Instagram and all of those things, we did ask people to submit videos, which felt a little bit weird. It wasn't even meant to be like, hey, give us a shout out because we hit 100. It was more like, hey, everybody, like, we do it because we have so many awesome people that listen to us and then reach out and share, give us feedback and all that stuff, that we wanted people to be a part of this 100th episode.
Yeah.
So we reached out a little while ago asking for video submissions that people would just share a little bit about like what their favorite episode was, favorite guest, just favorite moment. You could roast me and Deb. It's like, you guys aren't very good at this. Why'd you do this for 100 episodes? Whatever you wanted. And so we're actually just going to take a quick break because we have those videos right now. And we're going to post those in the middle of this episode. So we're just going to take a quick break so you guys can watch that. And then they're pretty fun too.
Okay.
Like Jordan submitted one. And hopefully, Jordan submitted one. I'm trying to remember off the top of my
haven't seen
head.
them yet.
Connor submitted one, which was really funny. Our friend Paul Marshall submitted one. Paul was quick too. Paul did it that night.
Paul's like, I'm on it.
He was
I got
on
you.
it. And I feel like Paul did it in one take. I don't know if that's true, but I feel like he nailed it in the first take. Connor had to redo his and still nailed it the second time. So, and then Jordan, he just texted me. He's like, hey, man, throw like 98 miles per hour on this one. I'm like, all right.
Oh
cool.
my God. I can't wait.
It's pretty good. So, and then I'm sure like at this point, we're still taking submissions. So when this
Yeah.
records, we'll have more, I'm sure. But check these out and then we'll come back in a second.
Hey, my name is Brandon, and I just wanted to say that the Connectable Podcast is one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. Just really love the dynamic that Josh and Deb bring to the podcast, as well as the really cool guests. And just a big congratulations to Deb and Josh on 100 episodes, and I look forward to 100 more episodes, so keep up the great work.
Hey, what's going on, Connectable? I'm excited about your big day coming up. A couple thoughts out of the gate for you. One, I love Connectable because I get to hear Josh talk. Always thought he was a mute. He never said anything, ever. Other thought would be that I think you need to do an entire episode on the pool boys who will be joining the Me Too movement after rich Uncle Deb, sexually harasses them poolside. Those are my thoughts. Peace.
Hello, this is Christine. I'm here to congratulate Deb and Josh on 100 episodes of Connectable. I have been listening to the podcast for quite a while now, and I've been mentioned a few times with the Twilight books. They are back in my possession, but I'm glad Deb could use them for a while as her stand. Congratulations again on 100 episodes. I enjoy this podcast, all the different guests that you've had. Some of my favorite episodes are the ones with your brother Jordan. I have never laughed so hard in all my life. and the pet peeves ones, the recess personalities. I like all the lighter topics you do, but also some of the more serious topics, like the friendship and the giving flowers, and just hitting on a broad range of topics. So congratulations again on 100 episodes, and here's to many more.
Hey guys, congrats on the 100th episode. This is such an incredible achievement. First off, I want to say, Deb, it's been so great getting to know more about you through this podcast experience. I'm 99% sure that you spend your entire prep period contributing to Reddit threads talking about proving mermaids are real, but we still love you regardless. Josh, I'm so proud of what you're doing here. This is super great. You're the hardest worker I know, but truthfully, I hope you make it to 200 episodes here before you end the show and start a new podcast. Thoughts and prayers to the Character Combine podcast. You have your hands in so many podcasts these last few years. You're like Brett Favre putting his hands in the state of Mississippi's welfare funds. Congrats, guys.
Good morning, Josh and Deborah. First off, I want to congratulate you guys on 100 episodes. That is an amazing accomplishment with your little fun project that you guys started. I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to make my podcasting debut, although embarrassing and a little entertaining. Yes, Josh, I know I still owe you a Taco Bell conversation, you and your brother. Want all the details. But I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity to be on your podcast and say congratulations. And Josh, thank you for picking on my friend. She needs it once in a while. I have to threaten her life to spend time with her. So I totally understand her inability to commit to her available times. She's crazy. Anyway, hope you guys have a wonderful show, and thanks again. Good luck to you guys.
Josh and Deb, congratulations on your 100th Connectable Podcast episode. It's a pretty big accomplishment. I mean, there's been bigger accomplishments, but this is yours, so I guess we'll celebrate it. But I figured at a time like this, we'll leave you with a quote from a businessman and part-time philosopher, Robert California, who said, "There's something about an underdog who inspires the unexceptional." I think you guys have done just that. Congratulations, and keep up the good work. You can do better, but keep up the good work.
So we appreciate everybody who
I can only
listens to the
imagine.
videos. Yeah.
Especially Jordan's.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, because I text him like, you're the only person I text. I'm like, hey, we're going to get a video from you, right? And you're like, no, the people need to hear from you. The people, because that's a stat I didn't drop on here. I don't know how many episodes he's been a co-host on, but he's been
quite a few.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a few. Some because like you had something come up. That's the awesome thing. I'm gonna give him a shout out right now because a lot of times it is a very last minute thing. I'm like, hey man, what are you doing? Can you hop on the podcast?
He's like, oh, again, okay.
Why? And then usually like if we do a top 5,
Yeah.
that adds even more complications to it. It's like, okay, now this clown's asking me to be on a podcast last minute, and I have to think of 5 things. Always comes through, so I appreciate that.
Yay, Jordan.
And it's always fun, and people love those episodes.
Yeah.
And I feel like early on, people now know your name because early on it's like, I like the one with the brother. It's like
With the brother.
Jordan. Try to remember his name, but yeah. So yeah, but you're the leader in the clubhouse still. I think following you is probably Trav, and then after that, I don't even know. We don't have a ton of repeat guests.
Not like, you mean like repeat, like more than like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Usually we've had a couple of people that have done it twice.
Yeah.
Not a ton of people that have done it
no.
more than. It might just be Jordan and Trav.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think too.
Yeah, not too many people,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. Like that's kind of the point of this podcast is like we want to get connected to a ton of people,
New people.
and it's if you look back, like it's kind of cool when like started looking at the different episodes that you missed. You start going through and noticing all these people that we had on. It's like it is crazy because like we've talked about before, if you really wanted to make it like a podcast explode, you would probably narrow it down more, right? Like it would be let's do a podcast about fitness or a specific thing about fitness or teaching, right? Or sports, or you would kind of narrow it down more. And we're like, that's cool, but we like talking to a lot of people. Like we've had videographers, fitness people, entrepreneurs. Like you and I just talk about some random nonsense. We have all kinds of people doing all kinds of things, and it's pretty cool. Like when you go back and see all the people we've had on, because it does span a pretty wide amount of interests and personalities and all that.
It's funny whenever I tell someone that I'm on a podcast or I have a podcast with a co-host or however you want to word it. They're like, "What's it about?" I'm like, and I say, and I go, and I do make that noise because I'm like,
Yeah.
it's just everything.
Right.
Like I can't even. I basically say we talk about random topics. Everything under the sun, almost except for politics. We just leave that out because
And we've stayed strong.
We just don't care.
I'm not interested.
But we our personalities, we genuinely just don't even want to get into it, or
Right.
or not that we don't care about our world or whatever, but like I just don't.
That was definitely Deb, not me.
I did.
I'm not going down with this ship. It's like we don't care about anything or anybody.
No, but I'm just like.
Hope you guys realize that.
But I genuinely would look dumb if I tried to talk about politics. I don't know. I wouldn't know where to. I would just listen, and
Right.
I'd just be like, that's what I do anyway. Like at work, we'll talk. Sometimes they'll go back and
Sure.
forth, and it's friendly, and I'll just sit there and listen, and I learn, and I'm like, oh, okay, and I like seeing both sides. But anyway,
Right. If you feel like you would look dumb,
but
I would be in a world of hurt.
yeah, but I just tell people like we're having a discussion about whatever,
Sure.
or we interview some people who have like businesses, or
Right.
even they just have like similar interests, and we want to talk about a topic.
Right.
Just ranges, obviously, and then I say obviously the goal is connecting people
Right.
to other people even outside of the Sacramento area.
Right.
But yeah, like what's it about? Because it's not right. It's not like how to start a business or
Right, it's none of that
nutrition,
stuff.
self-love. Like it's just everything.
Can I tell you, I have a problem with like
no.
self-love's a weird word to me.
You've told me about this before.
All right, that's
and
what
what
I'm
you
bringing
think about self-love and what you think it could
But
mean.
yeah, sure. I'm just saying it's a weird word to me. But no, but the funny thing is, like, I will say this: when we first started recording, Character Combine, not even this podcast, but when we first started doing podcasts, I was going back and forth like, hey, what do you want to talk about? And you're like, I would love to talk about self-love. I'm like,
He's like, why did I pick her?
I went home. I'm like, Rachel, I don't want to talk about self-love. And I'm like, but again, like we're in the scene together, so like like I can.
Didn't we call it like mental health, or did I say self? I don't remember what I said.
Maybe it was
to be
self-worth.
honest. Oh,
Might have been self-worth.
I
Maybe we
don't
did
know.
self-love at a different time, but it was like self-worth. But it, like, kind of in that thing, I'm like, I don't know. And it turned out to be one of our best episodes. Like people really enjoyed it, and so I'm like, well, I was wrong. I'll take the L on that one.
You did good in that episode.
Well, thank you. I tried to hold my own, but obviously, you're on the self-love for breakfast podcast all the time. And
I have you to thank for that. Like I said something nice about you. So like you give me a certificate about showing up when I feel like and sleeping.
Very little respect.
Anyway, very little respect. But you are the reason why I am such good friends with Crystal now. So
oh, good. I'm
thank
glad
you.
that worked out. Absolutely.
Yes, that was so. Crystal I basically stalked her and her Instagram and her boutique business for like a few years before I even met you. Like,
right.
I just was like, oh my, like I was obsessed with her.
Sure.
Of course, she had no idea who I was. And then because she was on Combine.
Yeah.
So I reached out. I started getting brave, and I reached out and asked her to be on Combine, and she's like, sure. And I'm like, what, really? And so she was on Combine, and then I asked her again to be on Connectable. And then she asked me to be a regular on her show.
Right. Which is awesome.
And we text all the time.
Yeah.
We're like internet besties now. So thank you.
Not a problem. I'm glad that worked out. Again, that's the point of the podcast. Like not just for people to get connected to our guests, but like also like it's helped us get connected to a lot of people too, which is a lot of fun. And just as I like to point this out too, it's not just that you're a guest on that show. Like obviously it's her platform, but she kind of gives the reins to you and says like, what are we talking about today? Which is pretty cool because for someone
I'm in charge of the topics.
right. For what she does and like the business and she's a really good businesswoman, obviously, that could go really wrong if you put that kind of responsibility in the wrong person's hands.
Yeah.
But she obviously likes you enough and trusts you enough to do that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I was, oh yeah. Super like flattering for sure. I remember asking her, are you sure? Are you sure you want me to pick the topic? She's like, yeah, it's fine. Well, we could talk about whatever. I'm like, okay. And then lucky for her, knock on wood, I guess, but sometimes my life is enough of a shit show, my personal life, that I have plenty of content to like bring up and talk about. So, but it's good because it helps me process things.
Sure.
I hope it helps other people process things, and it's all relevant stuff because it's all things that are happening in real time. So.
Right. And I've said this before, and this is not even a joke. This is going to sound like a joke. And we've talked about this before. This is really true. If you really watch it, usually when you go through something, like when you went through your bikini pic incident, that's something that touch on every podcast and every platform because it started off on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram first.
And then I think that happened after we recorded last time in person when I did it with Trav and Blake.
Okay.
Because Jordan and I went to go get dinner And I'm like, he's like, I was just in my car at the restaurant, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, Deb just posted like a 5 or 6 clip story. I had to watch it.
She doesn't want to rant.
Yeah, and so, but it goes from your story,
Uh-huh.
and then every once in a while it'll come up on this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and then it gets a little bit more intense. And then you go into Crystal's podcast, and it's like, or maybe not here to judge. And then Crystal's podcast is like, it is this like consistent ramping up of the intensity and the details of the story.
Exactly.
So
well,
like you said, it is a therapeutic thing. It's just like
very
multiple,
therapeutic.
4
It's like-
sessions.
And when it's like the stages, right? The processes.
Yeah.
Well, and I think there's something about, like, obviously, like, I don't mind telling, you things and talking to you about things, but there's something about when 2 girls get together and discuss an issue that happened with them. It's like, bam, they take it up. We'll take it up to the 1,000th degree of how we really feel about it.
Right.
And how, so.
Well, it's like that. There's again, it's connectable, right? Like there's
Yeah.
that connection there between 2 women. That's like I've never gotten judged for the bikini I wore. You know what I mean? It's just in the privacy of our own home.
Yeah. There you go. Right.
There you go.
Again, bizarre incidences, but
Sure.
I need lots of social media attention though. So
Yeah. That's the only reason I have you on this podcast in the first place. It's like, oh, she just needs it so much, and it's like perfect. She can promote stuff, and yeah, she'll just do it all the time.
I'll just do it late. Promote late.
Yeah.
Like I said.
Yeah.
I always send Josh late promote. Well, he'll ask me to like, hey, can you make a video? And gladly, but then it's like a week later. Here you go. Sorry. Sometimes I've done it on time.
No, here's the thing. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put this on the record because this is one thing I do not give her a hard time about. She's always, I say, hey, can you send me a video? And I don't even give you like a deadline or anything like that. You're just like, yeah, for sure. And then I'm like, I say something, you're like, oh, I'm so sorry for that. I'm like, it's all good. I'm not worried about it. And then even when you sent today, it's like, I'm so sorry, I'm so late. It's like, it doesn't matter.
I said better late than never.
Yeah, like I wasn't even concerned about it, but
I was, because when you asked me, like, I literally like, I was like, I haven't done it yet. I got a tattoo last night, and I literally was about to do it in the tattoo shop, but then there was noise and stuff because I didn't.
What tattoo parlor? What is it again?
Royal Peacock.
Is that the same one you always go to?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we shouted them out before. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. So me and my girlfriends went last night to get matching soccer tattoos.
Soccer tattoos?
Yes, and this was not a drunken decision. It was planned. A lot of people are like, were you drunk? No, like we planned this.
Okay.
And so we got matching soccer tattoos. And it's not so much about the sport soccer. I honestly could probably care less about soccer. I didn't even play soccer when I was younger.
Sure.
But just the like gathering. I met so many people and we're all really good friends now. We take trips together now and I've made lots of connections there. So that's the symbolism of that. But anyway, my point being, yes, I'm always concerned when you ask me to send a video because I want to send it quickly and I want to whatever and say what I need to say.
Sure.
Because when you asked me that, I think that night or the next day I didn't get home till like 10 o'clock at night, and same thing last night. I didn't get home till 11. And then today, and then finally I was sitting at my desk at work. I'm like, okay, now I can make the video. But I almost did it in the tattoo shop. There's tattoo pictures all behind me.
That would've been
and
awesome.
there's the bzz, bzz noise of like the tattoo. I was like, I can't do it in here.
Oh, you
There's
should
no
have.
way.
That would have been awesome. So yeah, okay, that makes sense. Just again, everybody knows I was not worried about any of that. I'm like, whenever you can give me the video is all good.
Yeah.
But so does that mean it's okay? So soccer means that much to you. Are you gonna get a podcast tattoo?
Sure. Do you want to get one with me?
No, I don't think so.
You gotta
I'm
get
not a
one with
tattoo
me.
guy.
I can't get it by myself.
Yeah, sure you can.
I'll just add it.
So
to
you
the
have,
list.
I don't know if can I say this? You have like a massive tattoo on your back.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. What's it of?
It's Ariel.
Is it really Ariel or is it just a mermaid?
So I had the artist make the tail for me, but I provided the body and like her hair, and it's legit. I found a picture of Ariel like flipping her hair out of the water.
Okay.
And so I say it's Ariel. That's what I call my tattoo.
There you go.
That is Ariel. Or I just say a giant mermaid. It's on my back.
That makes sense. Okay. I didn't know any of that, so I'm glad I asked.
It's got
But
red hair and everything.
It's
It probably looks, because when I work out and I box, I have just a sports bra on so you can see her hair, and they're like, cool, she has a picture of herself on her back. Nice. Her red hair.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're right. It's like, she is very self-conceited.
It's actually a cover-up. Her tail is a cover-up of a tattoo I got on my 18th birthday.
I do remember you saying that. I kind of forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to that. So yes, no, I'm not gonna get a tattoo. I'm not a tattoo guy. It's something.
There's a lot of people that aren't, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and it's honestly it's for no reason other than I'm not interested.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've said this before. I think.
I mean, I don't get it, but yeah. Just kidding.
Yeah. Well, so let me ask you this: why do you get them though? Because I know people have different reasons.
Well, I mean, I guess on a more serious level, it's I I joke, I'm going to die one day. So it doesn't really matter what I like. This is not my forever body.
Sure.
So I'm just going to have fun with it and treat it like a canvas and just draw some pictures on it in the meantime.
Sure.
And then on the other flip side, a lot of things, you know, everyone goes through all kinds of things in their life. And so a lot of it is symbolism.
Sure.
And reminds me of things. Like I have my niece and my nephew's name on my arm, and my niece passed away, but then my nephew is underneath her. So it's like, anyways, like, I just have a lot of symbolism to it.
Yeah.
And at this point, I just, you know, if I have a bunch of tattoos, I don't care if anyone doesn't like them, that's fine. You don't have to get them. But right now, tattoos are super popular anyway. But I started getting tattoos when I was 18.
Yeah. Okay. I've heard you say that before.
Yeah.
About people. Do people have, at this point, do people have, because like
no.
to be honest with you, I could not care any less if someone has a tattoo.
Yeah.
Like it's not even something I think of. But
think
you've said that before, so.
I think it's more so, and again, not today, because so many people have, no one cares anymore.
Yeah.
Right. But I think maybe back in the day, back when I was like just right out of high school.
Yeah.
I think it was more so like, oh, you need to be careful because you might not get this job if you have a tattoo showing, like, and this was back in like, you know, before 2010 type thing. So I think I was always worried about that. And just like no one in my family has tattoos, like immediate, like my friends didn't have tattoos growing up. I was like the only one, like the first one. I mean, just, and so now
you see Deb just like marching with like a huge group of people just like marching a tattoo shop. It's like, come on, follow me.
That's basically what I do now. I just brought 5 of my girlfriends into my tattoo shop last night. But yeah, I mean now, and so yeah, nobody. I literally get no negative comments about my tattoos. So
I was gonna say, I feel like no one. I mean, if anybody comments about a tattoo, I feel like it's like, oh, it's pretty dope, like whatever it is, or they have questions about what the symbolism is.
Yeah.
I feel like the only time I will say this, and again, I don't care because it doesn't affect my life, but if I see a tattoo on someone's face, it will catch my attention because I'm like, that's a choice. Because I forgot who said it. It might have been a comedian that said it. It was like, once you make that step, like you are kind of eliminating yourself from a lot of, like, you either have to be a tattoo artist or a musician.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Or like Post Malone, right? You gotta be Post Malone.
Well, and my tattoo artists,
Mike
like
Tyson.
they'll have some on their face and like up a neck and like whatever. But
at that point, that's what they're doing. That's advertising.
Right. Yeah,
that's a
exactly.
billboard. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's like, I mean, I imagine it would be tough to be a teacher.
I haven't seen a teacher with a face tattoo yet. So
yeah, it would be interesting.
I think I've seen a teacher with like a neck tattoo or like close to the neck.
Sure.
Which still, like, we're not, you know, we're allowed, obviously. We're allowed to have tattoos, but I have not seen a teacher with a face tattoo. You probably won't.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just a different.
Like a teardrop. Like, oh my gosh, who do we hire?
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's just a different lifestyle. It's just a different like type of career that you're into, maybe, or whatever. Yeah. Again, like you said, it doesn't affect my life, so I don't care.
No, I don't care. But like, it does. When I see it, I'm like, oh, you just made that. Like once you do that.
Yeah. It's on your face.
It's on your face, and it's like that's gonna affect a lot of stuff. It's like it's a bold choice for sure.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, not my problem.
Yeah. Well, and like I never thought I would get a sleeve. I mean, it's not even a full quotes. It's like I have some places.
Sure.
I have. So when I saw my tattoo artist last night, I was like, okay, so I want this covered and I want this here, and we're like planning stuff for the next time I go in because I want the whole thing covered now.
Yeah.
But I did only start off with getting my niece's name on my arm because for me, I was like, I started off getting tattoos with I don't want anyone seeing them. I don't want them visible. And it wasn't I'm judging people who have tattoos. It was just my personal choice. Like I just don't want them to be seen because I'm not ready for that yet. But then life goes on, and then I think the more I surround myself with people who are like, who cares? Like, why are you worried about that? And I'd be like, oh, you're right. You know, if I want it, I'm going to get it. And so I think that happened. And then it started crawling. My sleeve went from my forearm all the way up here. And now I'm just going to get more. But I don't know. It's just kind of, it's an evolution. I talk about it all the time. I'm obsessed with evolving. So
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how that started, but I was just curious.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know how we started with how why did we
Oh,
start
you were
talking
the
about
video.
tattoos?
You were doing the video.
Oh.
And in the tattoo parlor.
Oh
and
yeah,
decided not to.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's like I said, you could have sent that video from the tattoo parlor. It would have been awesome. We would have been okay with that. We could have tagged. Was it again Royal Peacock?
Royal Peacock, yeah.
Okay, Royal Flamingo.
Yeah.
I'm like
I
couldn't remember. It's some bird. Yeah, that's interesting.
Well,
no, I've never had. Like I said, I've just never had any. It's not even like I'm not against it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not interested. You know what I mean? Like there's
I have
certain
friends
things
like that though
like,
too.
I've never had any problems with it, but
yeah.
it's just never. It's not even a pain tolerance thing. Because I know some people are just afraid of needles, and they're like, I would love to get one, but I want no part of the needle. It's not even that. It's just like it's just not at one point have I thought, Like,
Right.
I would love, but that's the same for me when it comes
Right.
to like drinking too.
Mhm.
I'm not judging, but I couldn't care any less about what other people
Yeah.
do. But when it comes to me, it's like I've never had any desire to. I didn't grow up
Right.
around it,
Yeah.
so I think that plays a part too. And I just it's not ever been an interest to me. So it's like,
Yeah.
I haven't done it.
Well, yeah, no, same. Well, I was gonna say, after saying all that, like I have friends who I hang out with all the time, every day, who like will go with us to get tattoos with me and my friends, but they
Right.
won't. But they're just like, you go, and I was like, come on, and they're like, no. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, but they don't
Yeah.
care. They genuinely don't care if we do, but they just
Sure.
don't want to. And then I have, same thing, with drinking. They're just like, I just don't have a desire to. Well, and that's the same thing for me. I could say like, I don't have the, desire to do cocaine. I just don't want to. I've never-
It'd be an interesting podcast though, wouldn't it? Jordan's like, huh?
Jordan.
We made some massive jumps here.
I know. This is like,
I thought about meth, man. No, I don't really want
I
to.
don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do it. There's no desire. And so, but with,
Anyways, this one's gonna get us shut down. There's been a lot of inappropriate talk here, from drugs to pleasuring yourself to Taco Bell. A lot of nonsense.
it's going to be an X-rated one, I guess.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Paula. Is that your mother?
Yep.
Sorry, Paula.
Yep.
It's
Sorry,
Josh's fault.
Paula. Maybe don't listen to this one.
But with the pain tolerance.
Oh, I'm sorry. Every time I'm gonna call Jordan out. Every time Jordan records something, he's like, sometimes I forget that your mother-in-law listens to this.
So bad.
There's only been one time. I'm not even gonna repeat.
Oh no.
We had to cut one thing out.
You
And
really?
Yeah.
You did?
We had cut one thing out. It's like, because here's the thing, the stuff. This would be a very different podcast if we just went completely uncensored. Because the way we joke would be a very different podcast. It'd be a very different podcast. It'd be a lot of fun, but it would be a problem. I'll say that. It would probably not last very long.
Oh my God.
And so every once in a while, like again, when you're doing this podcasting thing, I was gonna ask you this as part of this 100th episode thing, and like I said, we've done more than that. But is it weird? Do you ever think about how, like, when we first started recording, you're very aware of the mics you're very aware of like looking at the person, you're very aware of your surroundings, and then you get to a certain point where it's just like you forget that the mic's there. You forget this is gonna be posted at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You get almost too comfortable where you're not saying anything bad, but just your mind's like, I could probably say anything right now, and I wouldn't even have the stop sign in front of me. It's very easy to do, and we've hit that point before. It's like, yeah, maybe just delete that part. Probably not good.
Whoops.
Got too close to the edge.
And
But
for me, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a teacher at a public school. I need to be careful with what I say.
right. Yeah.
So there's that too.
How often does that? Because I'm curious. I don't have the same restrictions that you do. Like I don't really post anything crazy on social media, but neither do you. But like I'm sure you post, like, I don't know. How often is this idea of I'm a teacher? Like I gotta be careful what I post. Like, is that always on your mind, or
it's more of it's just who I am too with what I post.
Sure.
And what I'm not like totally restricting myself of like, oh, don't post that. Remember, you're
Sure.
a teacher. I probably won't post it anyway.
Sure.
If it's just kind of, I do try to be careful with posting like, oh, cheers, champagne. Oh, here's some more mimosas. Oh, we're still drinking today. Cheers. Like I try not. I do, but like I try not to post too much of that, and then at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm not doing anything illegal, so it's fine. But I also
I'm doing cocaine.
No cocaine, not this time.
Not this time. Uh-oh. Talk to her like in the middle of the school year, or like that, like springtime when things start going
Oh,
wild.
God.
Then maybe.
Maybe.
I'm sure there's some wild. And
No,
we know there's
I
some
would
wild
need
teacher
I would need
stories.
weed,
but-
not cocaine.
So what?
I would need some weed, not cocaine.
That's a good point. Slow you down a little bit.
Just kind of
Yeah.
relax. But I don't.
Your PE class on cocaine would suck.
Yeah.
Burpees all day. Like,
Dude,
what?
they'd be like, well, get her out of here.
Yeah, probably.
'Cause I'm
just-
already psycho, like
You're right.
bouncing off the walls with them.
It would not be great. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's
you
okay.
with
Yeah, no, I think about it, but not a ton, just because sometimes I don't post at all, and then sometimes, but then I post the occasional bikini pic on my Snapchat, but then no one can see that, so that's
that.
fine.
And then you regret that. It's like, oh,
And
why
then I
did do
regret it
this?
because someone has a problem with it.
Yeah, it's still a very bizarre situation to me.
So
yeah.
but I try to be careful, but at the end of the day, I'm like, well, still got to live my life.
Sure.
And I don't do terrible, terrible things anyway, so I'm just
All right.
post whatever.
Well, you're leaving some of the stuff
Well,
very vague.
and because
Not horrible.
well,
but-
and I think because
Someone's gonna catch
social
you
media
drinking like wine out of a cup with a straw, walking out of the restaurant with it. It's like, oh, there's Miss McCollum.
She's drinking her wine out of the straw.
Yeah.
Here's the thing:
Stole
is
6
that
cups and some silverware.
you would think that these teenagers, and even the ones that I teach, are like, oh my God, what's she doing? And all like, they don't care. Like, they could care less. No, you guys are looking at each other like you don't believe me. I think for a little bit they'll care, and they're like, it's like seeing a giraffe like out of the freaking zoo, right?
Sure.
But then I swear they don't care. Like, I'm finding more and more that these teenagers, they're so engrossed in their own social media and their own fake accounts and all the things that they're doing. Because when I talk to, I'll even try to like tell my classes, like, they're like, oh, what'd you do this weekend? And obviously I just say, oh, I just was out with friends, and I'll leave it at that. And maybe only 2 kids are listening and the rest are just on their phone. Like, they to me, they just are so like,
yeah,
oh,
you've
cool.
said that before.
I think they're just so used to it too. I think when
Sure.
I was in high school, if we had all these social media buttons and I found one of my teachers on social media, I'd be like, oh, you guys wouldn't, I'd comment, you will not believe who I found. Look, and just looking. But I think it's just so common.
Yeah.
I just think they aren't too interested into what I'm doing or what teachers
good
are
then.
doing in general.
Yeah, that's good then.
Yeah, and maybe a few of them, but definitely not.
Probably not the ones you want interested.
Well, yeah, I think, and even those ones are like too chicken to like, because when you click on stories, like, you can see like who views your story.
Sure.
So I don't know. I just think that teenagers don't. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. I don't think they care.
It doesn't matter. I don't think anybody listens to this podcast. I think there's one kid that comments on our stuff every once in a while.
Oh, you said that, right?
Yeah, I forgot his name.
A kid?
Yeah, it was a kid. It was a student.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool.
That's when it hit me. I'm like, oh yeah, so her kids might listen to this.
Some of them listen, yeah.
Maybe not this one.
But someone commented on YouTube. Do you remember? And said
Yes.
that.
Oh yeah. Did we talk about this on here? I don't think we did.
I don't know. I don't know if we should.
The person, it's too late. So there was a person that reached out on YouTube, which is rare because we don't get that many comments on YouTube, and they said, this paraphrase. So if you're listening, you can reach out to Deb and tell her exactly what you said, but something about that. Deb's awesome. You guys went on a date once, but he thinks he was too fat for you, but she's still dope or still cool. I'm like, all right, well, you might have been. That's what I've always said about Deb, is like, she's very judgmental. And before you even go out on a date with Deb, she puts you on a scale. And it's like, all right, you're pushing 2 bills and you're a little short. I don't know if we can do this. That's what I've always said about Deborah.
But then I tried to, it doesn't even say who it is or no pictures or nothing.
No, it was like,
so I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to sound judgmental, but he was just posting a bunch of video game clips.
Yeah.
Like, this is
interesting nonetheless.
I would love to know
When you
how
told
Deb
me
met
that, I
this
was like,
young man.
what?
He definitely seemed like someone that would like to take you to Taco Bell.
Hey, give me that Crunchwrap Supreme, please.
Oh, no. Not even sure what that means. Oh, well, he's going to enjoy this next video we post. He's like, I do have a shot.
Show up with some gorditas.
That's like, yep. See, this is where we get in trouble. This is where we get in trouble.
Where we gotta be careful.
That's where we get in trouble because I'm not going to fall for it. I will not fall for it. So, no.
Anyway.
There we go.
Rabbit trail.
Yep.
Again.
So I'm not even sure how long have we been recording this thing. Where are we at now?
I don't know.
110? It's pretty
Without
standard.
the videos.
Without the
that's
videos.
standard.
That's pretty standard.
Yeah. It's pretty normal.
Yeah. So before we wrap this thing up, because I know you have places to be.
Beer.
Yeah, beer. And just see where the night goes from there. Maybe tattoos.
I drank beer the other night while we were recording. You saw that, right?
Oh yeah, no, you made it. You were very proud of it. She was very proud of herself too. She's like, hey.
I literally think I cheers the
cool.
camera
Yeah,
before we
you
could
did.
record. Like, cheers.
I'll say this: it was one of your better nights. So
See? You need to drink beer
that's
more
what we've been.
often.
Yeah, the water. Skip it.
Skip the water.
Yeah, maybe the Trulies too. It hasn't helped that much, but maybe the beer. Maybe that's the way to go. So just something to think
Just
about.
a nice hazy.
Yeah, there you go. Do you have I know I'm not going to ask you who your favorite guest was because Deb hates that. I enjoy that question, but do you have a memorable episode from these 100 episodes? Do you even remember?
Do I even remember?
I don't know why I ask these questions. Do you know what the name of this podcast is?
I'm surprised I remember all the plugs when you ask me on Instagram,
It's
Twitter.
impressive. Well, buckle up. It's going to happen at the end of this one.
This is one
Live. Yeah.
Live. I hate that question.
So I'm not asking you for your favorite.
Memorable, I know.
Yeah, but just like memorable, because like I'll say this, and it's not just because he's here, and I think he hates when I bring this up. The first, it's really hard for me to top Jordan's first episode with us.
Okay.
Because the stories he told on that really boosted us in a lot of ways. So shout out to Jordan for that, because they were embarrassing stories for you. I appreciate you doing it. But yeah, like that was probably the one where so many people have reached out. It's like that one was hilarious because those are some wild stories. So that one always sticks out to me. Obviously, like I love having my buddy Trav on because he's always just a good time and always brings like, he's a lot of fun to chat with, but then he also brings these like just nuggets of wisdom, which I think are really helpful for people. Right. I was kind of going back through, obviously Show Baraka was awesome because he's my favorite rapper. Yeah. And so that's like the equivalent of like Crystal Rose for me. It's like, oh, right. I never thought in a million years I'd have a chance to actually have a conversation and chat with this dude. But that one really sticks out for sure.
I mean, it was nice having Crystal on because again, that's like led into me, getting, being good friends with her now. And this is a more recent one, I think, or kind of not really, but when we had Paul on, I just love that because I call him, what did I call him? An FOP, friend of the podcast.
Friend of the podcast, yeah.
Like, I don't know that we've ever, I know people like listen to it, but I feel like he was a true FOP that we had interviewing, and I thought that was really cool.
Right, not a friend of ours, not a family member of ours,
a friend of
not
the podcast.
A guest. He just happened to find the episode because of a guest we had on, Bree.
Yeah,
and
he's super interactive.
It's always fun. It's always fun. He's just super, and he gets kind of like the jokes and stuff like that. The way we bash each other. Yeah. Even today when we posted your clip. He's like, that's awesome. Tell him everybody to roast Josh. Like, he loved it. Exactly. We love that. So we always appreciate when he comments. But yeah, and someone actually reached out the other day. So sometimes it's always fun too when I'll get emails from people through our Connectable email account, and they'll say, hey, like we found your podcast. We would love to have, like sometimes it's like my boss. We would love to have my boss as a guest. And we have one right now. And usually, we've talked about this before because I think you and I kind of talked about this process before, like when we did Character Combine, because people start reaching out. And I'm like, I can't just have some random person on the podcast because as much as we like joke and we're silly on here, it's like we do take a lot of time. We love this platform. We love this podcast. And so I personally, maybe I'm a psycho, but I don't like just having some random person. It's like, oh yeah, it sounds cool. You sound like a nice person. So we kind of have like a vetting process that we go through. It's nothing crazy, but like we like to get an idea of, hey, have you been on a podcast before? Do you have any videos? Tell me a little bit about who you are. And then we like to follow them on social media. So if anybody's wondering if you want to be a guest, like there is a little bit of a process if we don't already know you. Just as like, I don't want to have some random person on here because you just never know.
Well, it's risky. And you don't want to waste their time and like not post it and be like, I don't want to post that or right. Or I don't know. You just don't know.
Right. And we've had some people that I'm not gonna say they fully did that, but there have been people through all these podcasts that we've done that I feel like saw it just as an opportunity to sell themselves. And it's not really the point of what we're doing. Like we want to do that for you. Like we want to share what you're doing because you're probably doing some really cool things. Have a really awesome organization, a restaurant, a brand. Like we want to promote you for sure. But so there's a certain personality that comes on, and I think that's their full intention. And it's like, and they haven't done any research. They don't know how we do things. They don't know the flow of the conversation, and you can tell. Yeah. I'm not gonna say any names, but you can tell. And I'm like, I just don't want to do that. So anytime we've had some people that have reached out and like, yeah. And so like we have some people right now. They're like in the 2-month window.
Oh. And
I'm just following them and checking their stuff out. And they'll probably both get on.
Yeah.
But I forgot why I started talking about that.
Well, just how Paul was. Yeah.
One of them said, hey, I listened to Paul's episode. And I thought that was really cool, talking about some of the stigmas with police officers and just his insights. And so it's cool, like when they say, hey, I just found your podcast, how can I be a guest? But when they give like a specific example, I listened to this episode and I really liked when he said this, this, and this. It's like, oh, you really did listen to the episode. Yeah. And so that's always a fun thing.
Or at least episode. Yeah.
Or at least part of an episode. Yeah.
Part of an episode.
Hey, I'll take it. Sometimes our numbers, it's like, you know what? I'll take that. I do not care. So, but yeah, no, he was really good.
Yeah, that was fun.
I'm trying to think like, and honestly, the ones that you and I just do together are a lot of fun too, because I think it's different. That's the weird thing about our podcast is that sometimes we do more interview. It's still conversational, but like we are asking this person about what they do, insight, their knowledge. But like when it's just you and I, it literally is just a conversation, like about whatever. We may have a topic,
whether it's a pre-picked topic or nothing at all. We popped off and saying, what are we talking about today? I don't know. Let's just see what happens.
And some people may not enjoy that. I'm very sorry, but this is not the podcast for you if you don't enjoy that. But Yeah, it's just interesting, like looking back at all the different guests, and there's a ton of memorable moments and a ton of awesome people that we've had on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's those are a few that stick out to me at least. Obviously, it was a lot of fun listening to the episode that you and your friends did. I think it was Jamie and Nicole, right? Or was it just Nicole?
Jamie and Nicole.
It was both of them, right?
Yeah, because that's how the Not Here to Judge kind of took flight because of that conversation.
People accused me of saying that I didn't want them on my podcast. That was not true at all. I just want to point that out.
No, you can just have a better platform over here, which it worked out good. I just kind of stopped recording for a little bit, but that was expected. I did pretty good. Back. I did good for the time being, I think.
Right. Let me ask you this: did you have a set number of episodes?
To be honest, no. I was just like, I think I got down to my last few recordings, and even then I didn't get those out for like a few months. I remember texting those people saying, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna get it out, I promise. I just came across some technical difficulties, and I'm too stubborn and prideful to ask Josh for help, so I'm gonna figure it out, so give me a second. And then I figured it out, and then I released him, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm done, I need a break. That was a lot of work. And now I'm like,
it's really nice when you because with this podcast, like I'm the one who publishes it, right? So you don't get to experience that. But like, when you're doing your own, it is a lot of fun. Like when you press that publish button, and it's just out there.
Done.
It's like it's
done. Or when I schedule it for the next morning or whatever.
Yeah.
To whenever.
Right. Yeah. There is something that's kind of fun. It feels good. Like it's like it really is like a weight lifted off your shoulder.
But it is a lot of work just because I saw the process of obviously going through it and editing it in GarageBand, listening to it and making sure the volume's still good and everything's flowing well. And then getting it to, I'm just trying to quickly tell you guys like what Josh taught me in like a span of 3 hours, downloading it to a certain like MP, whatever. Yeah. And then once you publish it and get it out there and write the bio and stuff, then when it is out there, okay, how do I advertise this? And so I get on my Wave app and then I find a clip, and then you got to download that clip and put it on your story. It's just, it's a lot of work. Like I enjoyed it too, because I enjoyed getting the clips out, and that felt good too. Like getting the sound bites out. But yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, like, I do it in such like a raw, choppy way. Like the people that actually do this stuff, if you saw the amount of time it takes them to like edit it, it's like cut out all of the
orchestrated event.
It's that's why I told Trent Ellerman, who was a really fun guest on our podcast. He had a podcast for a little while, and his sounded really good right off the bat. And so I was kind of picking his brain and hearing some of the stuff that he would do. I'm like, man, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, wow.
I just know myself too much. Like I would love to do it, but I'm not going to do it. I think it sounds good enough on this platform. We're cool with that. And so, but yeah, it's a crazy amount of work, but I don't even think we're like even breaking the surface of what some of these people do in some of these podcasts.
Crazy. Yeah.
But anyways, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, and like I've always said, like sometimes it probably seems silly. It's like it's 100 episodes of a podcast that makes no money. It's not a career. I don't care, because I think I've said this before, and I really believe this. Like I think especially now, especially what we went through with the pandemic and all this craziness, I think any moment you have to celebrate, I think you should do it.
Yeah.
Like I think 100 episodes may not seem like a lot to people. Like for us, we're gonna make a big deal about 100 episodes because it's a lot of episodes. Like you don't really think about it, but it's a lot of conversation. Again, it's over at least 100 hours of conversation.
Yeah.
A little bit more than that, but like it's a lot of talking.
And it's out there forever.
And it's out there forever, including this episode where, we'll see how this one goes. So who knows? This one could be like the one that, breaks the glass ceiling. We just fly through it. It's like all of a sudden we made it.
Because we're talking about cocaine and jerking off a lot.
Yeah. Believe it or not, separately. Those weren't even the same conversation. So anyways, that might be a good place to stop.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, Rachel. I don't know why I'm apologizing to Rachel. So like this is like a normal Tuesday night.
It's like whatever.
Yeah. There's been times, like I told you before, we're not like big video game players, but like Jordan and I, that's one of the things we do on the weekend. Like we'll play, and usually it's like late at night. So it's like I don't even think I said this on the Father's Day episode. It's weird to me when you have dads who are willing to play video games when their kids are present. It's like, I'm not gonna go on this whole rant again, but it's like you have little people there that just hopefully love being around you. Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
You're a grown man. Anyways, so I don't do that. So we do the other responsible thing. We stay up very late at night.
After your kids are to bed.
Yeah. And so sometimes Rachel will she'll go to bed, and we're playing, and we'll start talking about something like just ridiculous. And she'll text me. She's like, "Did I hear you say this?" I said, 100%. And I said, "You didn't even hear what Jordan said on his end." But yep, your ears do not deceive you. That's exactly what I said. And then I'll tell her the whole story the next day. Nice. But anyways, so she's used to this. So anyways,
happy 100.
Happy 100.
Yeah.
Like I've said this before, I'm not going to make this too mushy, but I do appreciate you. As much as I make fun of you, I do appreciate you as a podcast co-host, because anybody else, I don't know if I could have had this conversation we just had.
I'm holding up my certificate as he's talking to me. Good.
Congratulations. Made it by myself. Not a big deal. We're taking a quick still shot. But no, I do appreciate you as a co-host, because like I said, I'll be honest with you, and Jordan can attest to this. If I didn't enjoy having conversations with you, we would not be here still doing a podcast. I could not do it, because it would just drive me crazy. It's like, this person doesn't care. This person doesn't.
It wouldn't be 3. Isn't it been like 3 years or 2.5 years?
We're pushing 4, I think.
4?
Right?
Really?
Because we started.
I mean, that could be true.
We started talking about it in, I think, 2018. Because my first daughter was born in 2019. At the beginning of 2019. That's when and so we released our very first podcast episode, not this one, but Character Combine, the day that she was born.
Oh my God, it's been almost 4 years.
Because any other time I'd be like focused, like, okay, how's the podcast doing?
I remember that too.
And I'm like, oh yeah, like obviously there were so many things that went on with that first birth, but it didn't even cross my mind, obviously. And I'm like, oh yeah, we're like 5 days removed. How's the podcast doing? And I think it was even Rachel. She's like, hey, how's your podcast doing? I'm like, oh, it's a great question. I have no clue. I was focused on you and the baby.
I was focused on getting no sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been a long time. So again, I don't say that to be funny. Like if you weren't good at it, like I wouldn't still be doing a podcast with you, but you are awesome at it, as much as I talk trash. But that's part of it too.
Part of it. I was gonna say that's part of why
you have a really good sense of humor. And if I couldn't say like these stupid things, it's like, this is probably not gonna work out, because it wouldn't be fun for me.
What if I like called you one day and cried and just said, "This really hurts my feelings. Like, can you please stop? It hurts my feelings."
I'm a soft person. I would stop. You know, I would stop immediately. I'd have no problems.
With your 2 daughters, you'd be like, "Oh God, I'm so sorry."
Yeah, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just offending women everywhere. I mean to.
Yeah. No,
but no, that would be tough. But
that won't happen.
You've already said one podcast. You're like, if I said, what if you like actually broke down and started crying? You're like, I wouldn't give you the satisfaction. Like, hold on, I'm not a Bond villain. I'm not trying to make her cry. I'm just saying, what if I accidentally did? I'm a very nice person.
No.
Yeah.
I cry alone.
Yeah. I said this on the Father's Day episode. I cry all the time now because of kids.
Yeah, it changes you.
It does. And even before, like, I wasn't above crying, like it would happen, but it wasn't as easy. Now it's like, if I see the wrong commercial, I think it was a St. Jude's. No, what was it? It was a hospital commercial, and there's the dad shaving his head.
Oh God.
Because his daughter. Yeah. Like, I'm like,
no.
Like, even just tears. I saw. What was the other thing? Oh, when Kobe passed away, and they kept showing all this stuff with him and his daughter, and then like we had just had our daughter at that point. I'm like,
nope.
I was like, just like Rachel came out. She's like, what happened? Like, I watched the Kobe video again.
Oh my God.
It was brutal. It happens all the time. Yes, Rachel. There was one time I was making
emotional than Rachel at this point.
Depends on the day. Depends on the day. But there's definitely some days I was like, so I was making dinner one time.
Okay.
And I was just making dinner. I was like making like spaghetti or something, and I was doing the ground beef. And my oldest daughter said something, like she said some phrase, and I'm like, okay. And just the way she said it just like brought all these thoughts, like, this is not gonna be like this forever. Oh gosh. And I was like, tears coming down my face. I was like pouring the sauce in. And Rachel was like, what happened? I said, this what happened. And she's like, oh, and she starts crying. I was like, our daughter's like, what is a bunch of soft parents?
What is happening? He's like,
you sissies, why are you crying? But it will hit you sometimes, like, oh man.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it doesn't take much these days. Like I said, certain movies, certain things that would used to like make you kind of like emotional. Mm-hmm. Now it's like the floodgates just open.
Waterworks.
Yeah, that was so funny. Travis on the episode we did with Travis, like, I saw Sonic 2 and I started crying at one point. Like, it will break you. Being a dad will break you. So, anyways, I'm in good company.
Okay.
But yeah, so if you, in all seriousness, if you start crying, then I would feel really bad. This whole charade, this whole act.
As a prank one day. See if you cry. Mess with your emotions.
I wouldn't cry, but I would feel very bad. I'm like, I'm so sorry. This is all a joke. Where did I cross the line?
Oh.
So.
It's okay. If I ever do that, the first question you should ask me is, Deb, how much have you had to drink?
There you go. Cocaine.
That's fine.
It's like, oh, she's doing it. Like, just look at her nose like this, all this stuff. Like, oh, yeah.
No.
Oops. All right. We've hit that point. Now she's done with the podcast, because if at that point you had to do that to come to the podcast, then we've hit a horrible spot.
Yes.
It's like, okay, hi, to come to this podcast and have these conversations.
I'll just show up with my beer. I think that works well.
You do that anyways.
I do that anyway.
Yeah, right. All right, let's wrap this thing up. They've heard us babble long enough. Deb,
They like it.
where can they follow us?
And here it is. Let's see. On Instagram at Connectable Podcast. You can catch us on Twitter at Connectable Pod, and then YouTube. And do we still have Facebook?
I do.
Okay.
I
on
still tag
Facebook.
you and stuff because I'm hoping that some of your friends on that Facebook see it.
Yeah.
And how many of those are
About
you active on?
I'm very active on Instagram, and
Oh, we have TikTok as well.
and on the TikTok, yeah.
I wish you wouldn't have said that, but yeah, we do.
That's Nicole's fault. Nicole started calling it the TikTok, so now it's
Can I be
the
honest with you?
TikTok.
I feel like it would sound cooler coming out of Nicole's mouth than yours. I was gonna put it out there. I think if Nicole said it, I
Okay,
wouldn't have a
when
problem.
she talks about her Taco Bell situation, then I'll have her say the
Taco
TikTok.
Bell.
The Tiki
Yeah.
Talk. Or maybe it was from Shauna. I can't remember who taught me the Tiki Talk. I think Nicole says it too. Anyway, I'll just have her say it now.
So I'm sure it sounds cool
It's
coming out
fine.
of your mouth too. But yeah, so that's been a fun episode.
Happy 100.
We're never gonna be allowed to record in person again. This went
I
off the
know.
rails.
Yeah. It's
All right.
fine. Okay.
Maybe I had an idea. Maybe we'll do it the next time we record in person, if it's possible. Maybe we do a Halloween episode. We can dress up.
Okay. What are we gonna dress up? What are you gonna dress up as?
I don't know.
I have a unicorn onesie you can borrow.
No, I'm not gonna borrow any of your clothes. What? I'm gonna find my own costume. You see his face? No way. Yeah, sure. I'm gonna borrow yours and then get popped by the cops because there's on the tip of the unicorn there's some crack.
Would you wear a unicorn onesie? Crack. What? I just
I'm sorry.
realized what you said.
Cocaine. Excuse me. I'm
Would
sorry.
you wear one if you had your own? We could wear matching unicorn onesies.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
I'm not above it, but I'm definitely not gonna wear yours.
I'll wear mine.
Also,
I was just offering it.
I've said this to you before. I don't think I said this on air because the last time you came over to the house to like learn the podcast stuff, because we haven't seen each other for so long, I always pictured her taller. You thought the same thing? Okay. And then it's like, she's not that tall. You're not short by any
Good thing
means.
I'm not a dude. I am, 5'5". Well,
You
you
gonna
know
hit
what?
me? What?
No.
Is that like fighting words? What does that mean?
No, because it's always like on the on the dating apps. The girls
short
are like
kings?
the short kings. The girls are when they meet them in person. Like I thought he'd be taller.
Ooh,
I
that's
thought he was
tough.
gonna be taller.
That's in
I'm not like that, to be honest. But like that's just something
What's the
that
ta-
happened.
Okay, we were trying to wrap this thing up, but now it's okay.
Okay.
What's the tallest guy that you've? What's not
Um,
even dated? Let's gone on a date with.
I'm like 6'4".
Big man. What's the shortest?
Probably my height. No, well I don't want to say 5'5", but like maybe 5'6".
Means he was 5'2".
5'7". No. That's what I meant when you said like
Okay.
she's shorter than I thought.
I see what you. I'm
I'm
like, okay. I didn't make the connection.
Because
I
that's like
understand now.
insulting to a dude sometimes.
Sure.
You know how like, and then with the girls, it's
Yeah.
oh, you're not as like, and I hope no guy ever, you would never say this, and guys wouldn't say this. You're not as thin as I thought you were, like that type of thing.
You
And it's
know
like,
there's
don't
somebody out
ever say that to a girl. Don't ever tell a guy about the height thing. Although I think people at this point just don't care these days. You could say whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, but everyone's offended these days too. So
Yeah, they might be offended
But
by
that
this
is kind-
podcast today.
yeah, that is mean. Like if you, instead of saying the height comment to me right now, what if you said you're heavier than we thought you were?
It's like, man, this couch is really sinking on that side. Well, I wonder why.
But yeah, I'm 5'5". I'm not that tall. I've gotten that comment before too. Like your pictures, you look taller. And I'm like, I think my torso is so short, so my legs look long, especially if I'm wearing shorts.
Okay.
And then I think that's why I look tall in pictures.
Okay.
I have a short I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't put that much thought into it. I just wanted to point
That's
that
just
out.
my own theory.
It could be.
I don't know.
It's one of those things. I was talking to someone. I think I was talking about maybe our youngest brother about this. I've never had to deal with, like, me or my brothers. We've never had to deal with this idea of being shorter compared to everybody else. Like, we've always been towards the top of like the class pictures.
Yeah.
Like, not always the tallest, but like towards, you know, and like I'm the shortest of them, and I'm 6 feet tall. And it's something you take for granted, but it's a really nice thing to have in your favor as you just go throughout life.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you're in crowds, you don't feel like you're going to get punked around. Like, some of these little guys, I'm like, man, good luck.
Yeah.
Get as bulky as possible because, like,
Get as bulky as possible.
it's something, yeah,
You have an advantage to being taller as dudes for sure.
I think so. We never have to deal with that. It's like, oh, I thought you were shorter. And even if, like, someone said to me, like, oh, I thought you're taller or you're shorter than I thought. It's like, I'm still 6 foot. Like, I'm cool. It's all good. I don't mind that. I always wanted to be 6'2" because I feel like some of my favorite baseball players growing up, on the back of their baseball card, it said 6'2". So I always wanted to, but, you know, I stopped short. So.
Oh my God! Sorry, one more story. I was on a date with someone at a
So
King.
before you say, are you sure you want to tell the story?
Well, it's not.
Because
It doesn't have anything to do with him. So hang on. You just said something about 6'2" being short.
the YouTube guy. He was too
No.
fat.
No, we were at a Kings game, and not we were on the court, like on the floor, and not my date, but someone else next to us was talking all this shit to the other team. I don't even remember, shocker, who we were playing, but the basketball players, and they were yelling, "You're short. You're only 6'2", 6'2". You're short," and he kept calling him 6'2" or 6'1" or something, and saying he was short. I died. I thought it was the funniest thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, because these guys are giants, like 6'7", whatever.
Yeah,
and he's calling 6'2" short. The whole game, he's talking shit to this guy.
That's commitment.
And this guy, and the guy who he was talking to, oh my god, I thought he was.
Oh, got his attention.
Yes.
Wow.
Like he broke him. He kept looking at him, and I was like, oh my god, he's gonna come over here.
That's where they mess up. Like that's the one thing. And I know it's easier said than done. Like,
I couldn't even tell you the player. I wish I could. I don't even know.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me at all. You call them the basketball players. It's like, one of the basketball players down
the
there.
ones with dribble the balls with the shorts.
Yeah, tall. They're on the court. Yeah, no, like that. It's easier said than done. Same with social media. It's like easier said than done. But if you get to a point where you catch the attention of an athlete. That's for the person who's heckling. That's game over. It's similar to comedy. Like if you get the comedian to break somehow and they flip out, which they usually don't. They're usually pretty good at handling hecklers, and they just kind of roast them, and then it's game over. But yeah, if you get their attention, or if you give them the attention, like you said, it's gonna be all game.
All game. Same thing with teachers. If you get us to break, it's all over. So we have to keep it together the whole day.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry.
It's always it's. I've told you this before. Last thing, I promise.
I know we keep
a teacher breaking in class is one of the most bizarre things that I think you can experience as a human being, because this is usually a person who has control of the classroom. When I say control, like I mean like they're controlled in their emotions. They might be irritated, but like they realize and they understand I'm the adult here. Even in a college class, like we're all technically adults, but like I'm the grown up, like the real grown up here.
Yeah.
I control the class, and when you see a teacher just lose it.
And we're not talking about like yell. I physically have to yell so that they can hear me, just because it's so loud in the gym.
That's being good at your job.
Right. So I but like in terms of like just losing it. Like
crying. Like I've been in
and going on a rant because then there's a difference between that's not my teacher anymore. That's a human being losing their shit. It's not like
it's hard to watch. I was at Sac State and that happened.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Like you saw a teacher. Oh no.
It was bad. It was a sports communications class. I'm not really sure what that means, but it was a fun class. And something happened, and she was just having one of those days, and she's like, "Everybody get the F out."
Oh, shut up.
Oh. She's like, "I'm not joking. Get out." Like,
she's like,
I just like started bawling. I'm like, oh my gosh.
See,
and this one sweet little girl, she's like, "So I had a question." "Not today." I'm like, oh gosh. Just
I had a question.
Run, girl, run. Everybody's clearly, it was like, we were probably 20 minutes in the class. It was an hour and a half class.
Oh my God.
And she just lost it. And then it was like,
were you guys doing anything?
First of all, I wasn't doing anything. I'm a very good student.
I'm just like, why did she
I was
lose
shooting spitballs at her, and it broke her.
You were really? No.
Deb, how long? This is the 100th episode.
I did.
This is how I joke. This is like sarcasm. What happened, Deb? We were doing really good.
What? But what happened then?
No, first of all, I want to say this. I'm an introvert by nature. So I was like sitting in the back of the class, head down. I didn't want anybody to call on me.
Yeah.
And, and anytime someone did call on me, I typically said something dumb. It's like, this is why you shouldn't have called on me. But no, I can't remember. I think people are just being loud. And sometimes, like, I feel like, obviously, like you said, teachers are human beings, professors are human beings. So sometimes, like, you just have one of those days, right? And everything's going wrong, and the one kid who says something stupid, or maybe the whole, like, you're trying to get the class's attention and they keep talking.
Yeah.
That's just the breaking point. And I think that's probably what it was for.
That's why I have a whistle.
Yeah, that's a good point. It serves more than one purpose. It's not just to get everybody's attention, but it's to keep your sanity. So no, I think it might have been one of those things, because like it was actually a pretty good class. She never had issues. It was just that one day. That's what made it so jarring.
Oh.
So you felt bad for it. Like I said, I was a good student. I didn't cause any problems. I helped someone cheat one time, and that got me in detention. And they cheated off me in math. I'm like, you don't know what you're doing. I suck at this class.
That's right. And you said you suck at math.
I'm so bad at math. Yeah, I'm terrible. So yeah, they're like, help me out. I'm like, you don't want this. And then I got caught. And, yeah. So even then, I was trying to do the right thing by helping someone, but not in the right way. So, anyways, we're done.
That was.
Anything else to say?
I better not, because we're gonna keep talking.
We'll never be allowed
One
to
thought
record
leads
a
to the next thought. I know. And poor Jordan's been standing this whole time. Yeah.
Yeah. What a man.
Thanks, Jordan.
The legs are built for this. All right. All right. No one gets to see his lower half on the podcast. You just see his upper half on Zoom. But just know he has sturdy legs. On that note,
We're
we
done.
will see you guys next week. See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for watching the show. If you enjoyed that episode, make sure you like it, share it, and hit the subscribe button to get a new episode every week. We'll see you next time on the Connectable Podcast.